Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, special conference edition of the Take 5 Challenge from the CPRS Conference 2026. Powered by the Push to Play Network and DPRS Media Network, this episode highlights the future of parks and recreation through connection, mentorship, and real-world experience. Hosted by Henry Perezalonso, the Take 5 Challenge invites professionals to take just 5 minutes to connect, learn, and grow. Because strong communities start with strong relationships. In this episode, Henry sits down with Dr. Brandon Taylor, Associate Professor at Fresno State, to explore how the next generation of professionals is shaping the industry with heart, purpose, and a passion for service. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Take 5 Challenge. I am Henry Perezalonso, and I'm your host of the day. The Take 5 Challenge, again, is an opportunity for Parks and Rec professionals to connect with one another, to intentionally take the time to have a conversation. This is a concept that I kind of came up with, years ago when I was able to lead the California Parks and Rec Society as its president. I actually introduced this and challenged our association to take 5 minutes a month with another professional, someone that's come before you, that's someone that's coming up after you, or someone on your same level. It's really, for me, an opportunity to make each other better. So as iron sharpens iron, we get together and we make each other better by just being there for each other and having the conversations that we should be having on a daily basis or a monthly basis, whatever it may be. But this show, the Take 5 Challenge, is brought to you by the Push to Play Network for CPRS. This week, this edition right now is the conference edition, so able to record a couple of these. And thanks to the DPRS Media Network for hosting us with this great, cool stuff, great equipment, so that we're able to kind of capture it in a different manner. But we're just so happy to be here. And today, my next guest right now is Dr. Brandon Taylor. So excited to have a conversation with him. Amazing individual, and I just want to kind of use that brain of his and see what I can learn and what we can all learn. Really kind of looking at, for my current theme of the day, I guess, is really looking at the professionals that might be coming in, because I know that a lot of times I've been able to talk with other folks about where they're at, and they've been seasoned professionals, but really I'm really looking at what are this young profession looking at, and as an instructor in our field, I want to kind of just dive in deep with him. So I'll be right back with the Take 5 Challenge with Brandon Taylor. So be right back. And then again, we are, for you tall people. All right. And 5, 4, 3. And welcome back to the Take 5 Challenge. So excited here to be chatting with my friend, Dr. Brandon Taylor. I have to throw that in there because he earned it. So I got to make sure that I'm saying, hey, Brandon, how are you today?
Good. Glad to be here, and thanks for the invite.
Oh, anytime, man. I just love the opportunity to chat with you. It'd be nice to just sit and chat, over a fireplace, with maybe an adult beverage and all that stuff. But this is, the next best thing. So I take it. First and foremost, can you tell the people who you are and where you work?
Yeah, so Brandon Taylor. I'm a associate professor at Fresno State in the Recreation Administration Department, and I coordinate our community recreation, youth development, and senior services option. So I've been teaching for approximately 15 years at this point, and love every minute of it.
That's awesome. But before that, you were in the field, right? And you were working at it. What actual areas did you work at? What program areas?
Yeah, so I worked for 3 different municipalities, and it's all over the board. So youth programs, adult sports, special events, you kind of name it. I've done it in addition to contracted after school programming as well. So lots of broad-based, wide-spanning opportunities that I've had in programming areas, and worked in the field for about 15 years before fully transitioning over to Fresno State. That's
quite an accomplishment. So I think that's kind of cool to see that. Do you find that experience really does help in your teaching with I know that's kind of a duh question, but do you really feel like you're able to pull still from all of that to really help bring up these new professionals or incoming professionals?
Yeah, that's what the students seem to love the most, I think, is the real life experiences that faculty have had. So I'm sharing all the time.
Right.
The good, the bad. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly when I was a practitioner with my staff. I wanted to know what's working, what's not working, and what do we need to like completely revamp to make sure that we're serving the community. So yeah, as much as I can, I bring in my personal experiences.
I love that. And I think that probably makes you that much of a better instructor, because I think it's always important to have that authenticity, right? And to see what's kind of cruising in. Now, looking at this new generation, and I ask this somewhat selfishly too, because I have a daughter who actually both my daughters are working in the summer camps, and one's at camp and one's at the pool. But the younger ones, going through the college application process right now. There's a couple of schools that out there that she put in the major as a rec major. Okay. So I'm kind of pumped for that, like kind of like dad, professional going, oh, that'd be really cool if my kid was actually a rec professional.
Yeah, definitely.
But in that nature, just kind of as we bring them up, what are some of the things that we as practitioners or people that are in the field right now, what do we need to understand about the student that's coming in?
I think first and foremost, they're afraid to fail. A lot of the students that we have and a lot of the folks that are kind of starting out have been good at everything that they've done.
Right.
So having opportunities to explore, to try things out is really, really important. And then really giving back to the community and having that community focus seems to be a pretty direct intent for them. I mean, that it goes along with our profession, right? That community focus, connecting with, serving, and so on. So those are probably two things initially to start. And then in addition, I'd say just getting them experience. Right. That's one of the biggest challenges that we tend to have with our students is are they working in the field where they're getting that experience? So as you were talking about your daughters getting that camp experience, and I think it was aquatics experience, that's huge. Before I went to Fresno State as an undergrad, I worked for the city of Walnut Creek for about 3 years. So I had, 3 years of part-time experience during community college, and then when I transferred that I brought in. So when I'm sitting in class, I had the opportunity to leverage my experience. Right. Oh, I ran this camp, or I helped set up the skate park, or whatever it might be. So those are a few of the things to kind of lock in at this point.
Now, you talked about that. So the kids want to be engaged and they want to serve, and is it for real? You actually see that authenticity coming from them? Like, I want to be a part of this community.
Yeah. I mean, COVID changed a lot, right? So I think before there may have been a little bit more focus on like the programming aspect and what is it that their interests are and what can they bring. That still comes along with it, but again, I coordinate our community recreation. So a huge philosophical piece is serving the community, a servant leadership perspective. And they're wanting to give back to their communities. Fresno, the Valley, lots of small communities. So we've got students that are seeing, larger communities, the resources that they may have, and maybe their smaller community doesn't. Right. And they want to then also go back and provide resources to their communities as well.
That is amazing. I love hearing that, love seeing that, because I think you feel it. Like, we do get to meet, like at these conferences, we get to meet students from the different schools, from the different ones that are teaching the recreation majors, and I think it really is fun to see how they're kind of diving in, right? See how they're trying to connect. And I know personally, I love that connection part with, hence the show, but really love the connection part with the kids and the professionals. And I think it's really important for us to continue to remember that, as far as, for me as a director of my city, it's like, how are we using these students? How can we better, equip them? And I love thinking about the fact that, yes, let's use my daughters as an example. Both of them have now, at least 4 years in the Parks and Rec field, right? Even up in a part-time field. One of them I know is not, she's a lost cause. She's going to go to the medical profession. She's not going to, this route. But what we've taught her through aquatics, and being able to, as a lifeguard instructor, all those things are going to help her. And I think that we, even through the school, even if they don't end up at a municipality, what they're going to gain from this major is going to be so impactful to wherever they go.
Yeah, I agree. I think the experience that they get, we are a workforce development profession, right? Specifically around part-time. hire high school students, maybe college students. It may be their first job. They're learning responsibility. They're learning how to fill out a timesheet. They're learning, right, the legalities of working for a municipality or whatever area they're in. And then transferring into or coming into the university level, they're getting a little bit more philosophical, right? They're getting kind of the nuts and bolts of how things work within an organization. And then I'm biased, but I think we have the best major around, specifically at Fresno State. If you're in our classes, you're learning logistics, right? That's our program planning class. You're learning leadership. We have a budgeting class. We have a supervision course where you learn how to supervise and motivate people, right? It's such a broad range of opportunities in terms of education that even, like you said, even if they don't go into municipal recreation or recreation at all, those skills and know-how that they've learned in our courses that can transfer into pretty much any occupation, including the medical field.
No, I love that. No, and I'm excited for her, but because I live it, right, and I know it, and to me, my kids are only going to hear so much of it from me. So I love that there's professionals like yourself and the others that I work with that are going to take these kids under their wing and teach them or share with them. I don't, is it so much teachers like, hey, let me just share with you what you got going on. What you learn is what you learn and how you're going to get it. I hope that everything I have, you get and you pick up. And they're obviously not going to be able to pick up everything you throw down, but hopefully they get exactly what they need for the time that they needed to get in the door.
Yeah, it's a lot like parenting, right? In that sense of you do what you can and try to impart, as much as you can over a period of time. And then they've also got to take that upon themselves and learning. And I tell people I don't specifically teach, I more facilitate, right? So in our classes, they're reading the book. They're supposed to come to class having read the book. I'm facilitating conversation. Let's talk about this scenario, that scenario. What are their experiences that they've had? And does this actually work, right? The philosophical piece is great, but what does that look like? And I call it the world off of campus. So the world off of campus, what does that look like? Are the program plans the same? No. An agency to have a 50-page document for every program is just not realistic. But understanding the pieces that make a quality program is, and while it may not be in a program plan for an agency, students have an understanding of, oh, this is a piece that needs to be included, even if it's not documented or written down.
That's right. And what's funny is I love the fact that you have them read, you have them write. Those obviously, you're supposed to do that at school, but they forget that they're actually going to do that again in their everyday life. We are writing staff reports. We are, we are reading the things we need to, we're reading and writing staff reports to get good information on that, or even, documents, data that comes back to us that we're going to help drive our decision making. And I think that's such a cool thing that they do and that they get reinforced to do and hopefully, remember. So tell me, like right now, how would you describe the quality of student that's coming out into the professional world?
Yeah, and I can only speak for Fresno State, but they are getting a quality education that is rooted in service to the community. So whether they're in community recreation or any of the other four that we do have, the core classes are going to give them a foundation. And then it's just, what does it look like for sports entertainment facility management? That might be a little bit different than community rec. They're coming in with the need for experience. They're coming in with the need that they need to know that failure is okay, right? And that's a learning point. So I talk with my classes about, I used to, not on a regular basis, but I ran out of gas with a van full of 13 and 14
Oh, nice.
Just as we were coming off of the freeway. And I tell them I'd bang on the table, but it's going to mess up the camera. I could have sworn we had plenty of gas to get where we needed to and back. And so knowing those types of things, that not everything that I did in the profession was perfect. I tell them about a track camp that I tried to do and got no registrations. Right. And those are just real things that take place. And then fortunately, I had a supervisor, Becky Whited, just to shout her out.
Hey, Becky.
Who was like, okay, let's talk about this. And what could you have done differently or better? Or maybe it's a different time of the year and whatnot. So for my growth, that was huge because, coming in as an intern and then having this quote unquote failure, but knowing that it's not really a failure, right? We don't I teach the research and evaluation class, and we talk about evaluation as a snapshot in time. And it's just what's taking place at that period of time. So make sure that there's opportunities for them to grow out of those challenges or failures, mistakes that they might have.
That's awesome. Before we kind of wrap up here too, just for the professional, one piece of advice for the professional about these students, and maybe one piece of advice for the students about the professionals.
Yeah, for professionals, I would just say flexibility. Again, COVID changed a lot of priorities for people changed during that time. And a lot of students saw that the money isn't necessarily the number one thing, right? That impact to the community is. So they really have that interest of giving back to the community, which again ties in naturally with our profession. I think for the students is going in and not being afraid to share perspective or ideas, to kind of put yourself out there. Because that's how you learn and that's how you grow. And even if your idea isn't facilitated exactly the way you thought it was, that's a learning opportunity in and of itself as well.
I love that. I love it. So if someone wanted to get a hold of you, where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, the easiest way is just email me, and it's brtaylor@csufresno.edu. So yeah, feel free to send me an email. I'm on LinkedIn. If you search, I think it's Brandon Taylor DM on LinkedIn as well. And then if these folks are in CPRS, through the CPRS community is a good way to connect also.
So that is awesome. And I also have to, this is the Take 5 Challenge. Therefore, I ask, and I know that you've done this before, but will you take the challenge and connect with another professional or student? How about that?
Absolutely. I love that when you launched this initiative. I thought it was an amazing opportunity to connect in a profession where we are connectors and sometimes get siloed in the work that we do. And to broaden our networks is an important aspect. So yeah, I tell my students every time they meet someone to trade either business cards, get an email, especially at conference. That networking is a huge piece. So absolutely.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out and taking 5 with me. It's much appreciated. I love it. And I look forward to our next conversation as well. And I will see you next time. And for the rest of you that are watching, I will be right back with some final thoughts on my chat with Dr. Taylor. So we'll be right back. Thank you. You can step there.
Yep.
And I'm back. Just had a nice little chat with Dr. Brandon Taylor from Fresno State. Had a really good time. It's always, for me personally, I just love being around the man, and I know how much passion he has and what he really wants to drive and give to the young professional, the incoming professional, his students. It has been such a dream. I've had an opportunity actually to meet some of his students that he has connected with me, and I think they've all been very quality folks. And I think I've even hired one before, so I think it's kind of fun to see what he still does there. But just thinking along the lines that the biggest thing, the takeaway that kind of for me in this conversation is how much of a heart our students have for their communities and what they're willing to do for it. And that they learn it and they grow it, and it becomes even fostered throughout their education process. And I think that that's something that for us as professionals to really think about and remember, that the quality of Canada, the quality of young professionals coming into us has a heart for this already. And it's going to be very important for all of us to continue to foster that. I'm not saying baby it or anything like that. I mean, it's still grown-up jobs that we do, but at the heart of it, know that their heart is in the right place. And if we use it correctly, we're going to build a stronger profession just by having them around. So I'm really just grateful again for that conversation, and it's going to sit with me for a little while. And like I told you, this is the conference edition, and we're out here for all week long with the California Parks and Rec Society's statewide conference. I look forward to meeting these students from and really trying to engage and connect with them as well. Again, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. This is the Take 5 Challenge on the Push to Play Network from CPRS. We also want to thank this show, DPRS Media Network, as they have been providing us with this equipment in order for us to record these shows. We just want to thank them. Thank everybody for hanging out. If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me through Instagram at the Take 5 Challenge. It's take_5_challenge. Shoot me an email or a message, whatever you want to do, but I'd love to hear from you. What are topics you want me to talk about with some of our professionals? Hey, I want to be one of those professionals that talk with you or student. Come on board. I'd love to know who you are and what you do. But until then, again, go take 5 with someone. Intentionally take the time to connect and make yourself stronger. So we'll see you next time on Take 5. And that's this show.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.